Hey, what is going on, everybody? Tony here. We're going to get this thing started here very soon. Had to delay the start because it was like 9:30 something by the time, or 35 by the time I was actually making the stream up. And YouTube said, or Facebook said you have to give them 10 minutes before you can do a scheduled one. So I had to go to 9:40. So everything seems set up and ready to go. So we'll get it firing up here in just a second. Those of you joining later, we will put the time code in the description saying right when this thing is going to kick off.
And industry teasers are finding their way into our homes and invading our minds. Their calculated information is delivered to feed our addiction for radio-controlled frequencies. It's an RC conspiracy. But we are on your side, cracking the RC code. Because the truth is out there. Welcome to the RC Conspiracies podcast. Get your decoder rings ready and put on those tinfoil hats because your fearless leader is here. Please welcome your host, the lead RC Conspiracist, Tony Cece. Welcome to the RC Conspiracies podcast.
Hey, what is going on, guys? Welcome to another RC Conspiracies podcast. And I almost always, every time, come in right before he does that last little take on it, because he kind of rounds it back around and does it one more time. And it's like, I always forget that it does it one more time. So I'm always like starting to talk. But hey, how's it going? Bunch of people in here already. Sorry for the late start. We're going to get things going. It's a little bit different here today because everything normal, for the most part, from my side, is torn down because I have a big shoot, a high-profile shoot tomorrow. No, Thursday. We're going a day before, going to prep everything, get all the cameras matched up, all the lighting, go through everything and just test it. And it's not one where you want to have it mess up. Let's just say that. So tonight what we're going to do is, I literally just got back. I had to go get a black tie, and I went and got a suit the other day. And it's one of those kind of shoots. I don't like doing that when I've got a camera and have to work and all that, but you do what you got to do. So yeah, RC Conspiracies, so much stuff going on. Buck's Unique Custom is here. Hey, Buck, man, what's going on? Stickies, Rich is here, Bull Gear RCs, AJ and Dad's RC Adventures, Motor City RC, Midget Man, JR, JO, Chomp Gang, Sean's RC Adventures. He was on earlier today with the gang, getting ready for USTE, I think, already, 2021. Kagan is in the house, Green Frog RC. RC Amigos is back after being on 11 Charlie last night. He's in the chat. And JM's RC is like, yeah, okay, Tony, whatever. I don't believe you. So today we'll talk about a few things that we talked about last week, kind of clear up a few things that I might have said that I might not fully agree with myself anymore on, to go back to some of that. And but mainly I want to do some Q&A. You guys, I put up a question and answer earlier today because after last week, like, where do you go from there? So we'll talk about some of that stuff still. There's some little stuff like the little Orlando thing, but Harley covered a lot of that stuff. But yeah, a lot of people are getting their hands on the felony, so that's fun to see. I'm starting to see more and more people now with the laser nut as well, because they're telling me things like, check your wheel nuts. I've lost 2 of them, and I checked mine. Mine were Loctited on, all of them. Even the spare tire was Loctited on, but it didn't seem to have the same kind of lock nut that I'm used to with the ring in it, or the little plastic stopper in it. So, yeah, that thread lock is probably pretty good. It's serrated, so it should still kind of grip in, but for whatever reason, a couple of people have lost theirs. First things we'll go through, I'm wearing a new shirt. RC bashing is not a crime. You guys, if you like these, you can get them over on the store, over at the YouTube page. You hit store, and we've got CCXRC, RC Conspiracies, the monster truck shirt, so that's not scale.
That's not scale.
Shirts. We got face masks now for the CCXRC and for the RC bashing is not a crime, but we've got a few of those little trail tool bag RC bashing is not a crime. Really, it's just a fanny pack, but we like to call them a trail tool bag. All right, so that's it. Not much to see here. Just quick stuff to go over. While my battery's charged, I did put up a new podcast today. RC News Battle, Horizon Hobby acquires Proline, Traxxas Haas, Arma Felony, Low C Laser Nut, kind of how they snowballed off each other. I kind of go into a little bit of that, and some of my thoughts there. And yeah, and then the last thing was lots of laser nut stuff hitting here. I've been working on cars. In fact, this is something we'll talk about maybe tonight. Figure out what you guys think we should do here. I'm thinking a giveaway at 35,000 subscribers. We'll give away the 30,000 subscriber taco chassis from when I landed on the fence. So some people said I should do that on the RC Guy Garage live chat the other night, sign it and all that. And I'm like, oh, okay, it's weird, but all right. But yeah, so people have already expressed some interest. I think a giveaway is the best way to do it. And so we'll do a video or something about that. What do you guys think? Is that the best way? All right. General Hobbies is here. Shane Keenan. Okay, questions. Here we got it. It's a Q&A one, so let's jump into it. I'll stop for a second. We'll answer a quick question here. Trey the Gamer 51 says, yo, I'm newer to the channel and trying to find a good RC for rougher pavement. Which would you recommend? Okay, so there's a couple ways to look at this. A Typhon actually is a pretty cool on-road car as well. It can pull dual duty. It can be a basher or it can be on-road. People were doing speed stuff with it, and that's kind of where they came out with like the Limitless and that. They realized that people were using Armas to go fast, and so they made the infraction in the Limitless so you guys can go fast with their cars without doing as much work to them. But the Typhon is an awesome thing to use. Depending on how rough it is, there too, your tires will last a little longer with something like that. The infraction, the felony, those would do pretty good. They don't. You get into some of them, like I had that HPI Sport, and you get dirt and stuff up inside. It locks up the steering. You don't have any of that with the infraction. It was my favorite, like first on road good experience with the car that was on road. Take that back. The Tamiya, that little semi truck, that race truck, the Bagheera, that thing was pretty awesome on road. Not super fast or anything, but it's pretty low chassis. It probably wouldn't do good on rough road. But you could also do a Fortec. Traxxas Fortec would also be decent. They kind of can go on a lot of different surfaces. They're built really well for on road. So there's lots of choices. I have the little Kyosho Charger and the Chevelle. Those things just go anywhere. In fact, that's what the Mad Van is based off of. So, I mean, those little chassis just go. So I would recommend any of those, and it'd be good. And if you want to do monster truck stuff, the 3S lineup from the Sentence would even be good on road. So that's an expensive way versus like a 6S Typhon, which is what people go fast with, which is what I have this picture of here, is 6S Typhon, and I put a M2C Racing chassis in the braces. You can see the metal chassis braces here. I just put that on. I did a whole swap over from the other chassis. But you could do the 3S version of the Typhon. You could do a Sentin. Even I guess the Big Rock would be all right. There's lots on road. You just don't want to get anything that's too low to the ground for on road. But you could do big wheel stuff too. Cody Vanderberg says, my thumbs hurt trying to program your rugged. Did you get the updated thumb pad? I find it so easy. Like I just did 3 cars the other night and he put custom names for all of them with that thing. And I find it way better than the wheel was. All right. So that was one thing. And this is, some people think I don't wrench on my cars. I wrench on a bunch of them. I used to get help. Jeremy used to come over, and that's probably where some people came up with that idea that I didn't, is he would come and help because I have a lot of cars. So just the other day, I started to fix the Primal RC. I fixed 2 shocks, put different oil in them. One of them was bent to look like this. It was nuts bent. That's the shock shaft, and these are not small shock shafts. And then once I fixed that and went to run it, I realized that the 2 front steering servos were dead. They had the teeth were all chewed up on some of the gears, so had to order some new ones of those. So I got that half done. I replaced a CVD right here, this one on the Low C DBXLE. Then I did the full chassis swap on this, and I did a whole ESC swap out on my Outcast 6S, which means taking off the plate, routing all the wires under, all of that kind of stuff. So I did a bunch, but I usually have to do it. So usually I get a bunch that are broken and have to be fixed. And even still, the Mojave, I ran it for 5 minutes and then something happened with the rear diff. And it's not new. I bought it used, but it also had an 8S system put in. And so it's very possible that under 8S power, some stuff happened in the rear diff. So that's very possible. But I have to take that apart still and look at it. I've got the EXB brand new, and I know that I have to shim those diffs. And so that's got to get done. I've got builds to do. So it gets busy, and that's why I've had help before. And it is very good. But Jeremy, man, he's been doing an awesome job totally like redoing their house and interior stuff and all that. Big stuff. Doing a killer job with it. So, and with the COVID stuff, we just haven't been able to get together at all. But yeah, lots of stuff with the laser nut I've had going on, popping wheelies. This thing's pretty rad. It's got some power for sure. But what I wanted to get in here for is some of the questions are in here that we were going to get to. So I did like at the beginning of the day, I posted a question. Who's got questions? Ask away. And then from that, there were some questions. I don't know if this is going to let me pause or not. There we go. It will. So I figured I'd do some of them. And go through some of the questions there. First, you guys might be able to help with this. Jam, he's having problems linking his Hobby Wing Wi-Fi link. I don't know much about Hobby Wing stuff. And I have a link card, but it plugs directly in. It's not Wi-Fi. Other than my Axe system, which basically you just turn it on and you turn your phone on, hit a button and it connects. However, that is out of commission in my SCX 10.3, and they did finally email me about that with some tips to try out to see if I've got issues. But I don't know. Maybe somebody else knows about the Hobby Wing Wi-Fi link. I usually use Castle stuff, so I'm new to it. Cody Vandenberg, you need to send that into Spectrum. It's not expensive for them to put in the new back on it, and it will change your life. All right, Chomp Gang, when will you get the Big Rock? Because I want it to be my first RC. Whenever they ship it, I've got it on order. I've got the Big Rock on order. Midget Man says, no, not to the Big Rock. It can't handle the high speed that his Wrestler 4x4 sure does, though. Well, it's different the way that they're set up. The Wrestler sits lower to the ground, smaller tires. But I also he didn't really say that it was about speed. It's just saying that he has cement I was just getting him stuff he could drive on and it would be fun. Good evening, Gap. Who hit the dislike? There's always somebody that hits the dislike. There's always somebody that hits the dislike. Not a big deal. Doesn't bother me. All right, first RC. Now, I don't know who, if he's talking to me or if he's talking about what he should get for his first RC. It just said first RC. My first RC is the two-wheel drive Stampede Gravedigger. Awesome. Loved it. Good way to start. Not too much speed. Pretty durable, although I broke it the first night on a curb. It happens. Stuff breaks, guys, and that's the thing. I think that we're so busy trying to tell everybody that these cars are tough, and we do a disservice to them. Because, yes, they're tough, but they break. And, you know, what it really comes down to for me at this point in the game is, can I get parts for it? If it's a car that I can't get parts for, then I might not want to be running that one or doing certain things with it that might break it. Then it would be a problem if it broke. But if parts are readily available and you can do the work, and you have to be willing to do the work. If you're going to send it 50 feet in the air for 150 feet, then you need to be willing to work on them when it doesn't land. So, but you know, we try to say that they're tough, and you know, we don't always show when things break, or certain people don't, I guess. I typically show when stuff goes bad. Even in the latest Losi video, I showed when I slammed into the rocks or I landed and it just direct stopped off it. I thought I broke it a couple times, but it kept on ticking. So here's the question that I was pulling up. Let me get through a few of these and we'll go to the ones in the comments there. Your favorite monster truck guy, you're a monster truck guy. What's your favorite monster to run as a Badger? And so I said that depends. If I'm a honey badger, it'd have to be Son of a Digger. And yeah, I mean, that's my favorite truck. Son of a Digger is awesome. How am I liking the Laser Nut? It's one of my favorites already. Had it out today. Took my kids to their music lessons. Awesome. Even on the cement, having a good time. RC Canada wanted to know if I'd join him on his podcast, and I said I would, only if he would join me on mine. And there's a couple that I haven't answered. We'll go through the ones that I did, and there's a few that I might expound on. So like this one, freestyle axles or Vanquish Incision for solid axle monster trucks. This is a good one. And I said freestyle RC axles all day long, but Vanquish are good too. Now Vanquish probably costs as much. They look a little bit more scale. I've just never used them, and it still is running kind of off of that really thin type of, metal drive shaft. And I just haven't seen anybody bust the freestyle RC ones. And so they're easy to work on. The parts or the Traxxas ones are easy to get and not too expensive. And so they're just an amazing piece of art. That's one of the things that it comes down to, is that the freestyle RC axles are a piece of art, as well as the Vanquish ones. But when it comes to durability, if you want to send it, I just see everybody running the freestyle RC ones. Before I get lost, let me get back to the chat here for a second. What's good, Gab? All right. You're good, man. I've been watching your felony videos. Cody said he's trying to get it fixed. Talk to the Horizon guys. Yeah, they ran out of them there at Axial Fest. They did a bunch of them. They're just sitting there putting in new ones. It's just a few screws and they slide in that plate. It looks so easy. RC Show Off says he broke his Rustler 4x4 today at the skate park. It happens, man. It's part of the game. It's what I started telling people when they asked me at work, when I told them that I was playing with RC toys. And they were trying to figure out like what was the draw. And it's really, I said, it's like playing a video game, except that there's consequences. And so when you do something stupid, there's a consequence you pay for it, with potentially something breaking. And that's, I think, half the fun of it, right? Is that things can go wrong, that they can break. But you know what? it's always fixable. If there's parts out there, even if there's not, there's a lot of ways that you can find to fix a lot of stuff. It's pretty cool. But I just hate when people start bashing on people. Oh, their trucks are junk. They break when, it's like, yeah, well, I've seen how people drive them, and of course they break. Like, there has to be a break point. All right. Being that J Concepts tribute wheels are out of stock and no one knows when they're coming in stock, how do you like the Duratrax munition tires on the SMT-10? I thought they were pretty good. They're totally different, and they handle totally different than the J Concepts tributes. That's for sure. But they handle well. They handle pretty well. They're a smaller tire, narrower, and they're really soft compound, which kind of helps a little with suspension. But good stuff. Cody Vanderberg, do you need 4S and a laser nut? Nope. You can get on with the 3S for sure. And they actually give you a different gear so you can get more speed with the 3S as well. So that's there that you can put in a bigger spur gear. Tim Vanison, what's going on, man? The whole chat just jumped on me. I hate when it does that. It just like scrolls to the bottom out of the blue, and I was like in the middle still playing catch up. Innovative RC has a question. How's it going? It's going pretty well. It's pretty busy around here. This week is pretty nuts. Tim Vanison, can I put a bouncer cage on my center chassis with minimal fab? I haven't seen that, but I mean, if you could find one that's already pre-built, if you don't want to do a lot of fab, you'd have to find something that's kind of built, and then you just have to mount it either with welding it to your rails, or finding a way to get a plate on it that you can screw into the rails that are there. Actually, man, I've started to take on a little bit of a liking to the tinkering side of things. It's been so hot out that I've just been tinkering a lot inside, and I'm really liking it. After I built that SCX-10-3, that was so much fun to build. I know a lot of people griped about it. There was like a few spots in the directions where I was scratching my head, but not many, other than when I thought that they gave me an extra bearing and I had to take it apart, and it was like the last bearing. I just forgot to put it in. It was totally obvious that it should be there. 10 scale boss. This is a good question. This is a good Q&A one to answer. If I had to choose, this is from the 10 scale boss. If I had to choose between the DB Pro or the laser nut, which one would you choose and why? I would choose the laser nut. I just love how it handles with the extra ground clearance with the bigger wheels, and the little bit longer chassis just makes it really, really controlled. The DB Pro is probably a little bit better jumper and some of that, but the way that the laser nut just soaks up the ground, and it's just amazing to watch it run. And I can just take it out on pretty much any terrain and have fun driving it. And I've just really taken to that RC a ton. Not something I really thought, either of them would have been in my top liking. And that's one of the things I mentioned in the podcast was they kind of came out of the blue for me. Like the Desert Buggy wasn't one of my things. And I love the DBXLE. I love the DB Pro. And now this laser nut, man, that's up there. That's up there for me with one of my favorite vehicles. Sean's RC Adventure says the laser nut looks awesome until you get the rear view. Then it looks like a platypus because of the wheel on the back. I get that. It does have kind of a weird squat off the back with that tire hanging out there. All right, what's a good KV for an SMT-10 on 2S? 5700 is pretty good for me. That's what I'm liking 2S. And that's I run a Castle system 5700, and I like it a lot. Axiomatics in the house. Yeah, here's Earl's got a better thing is you can buy like an already done rock bouncer chassis from Hot Racing and just move over your transmission and all that. It's all a matter of whether or not the transmission plate fits, and that's what I didn't know for the I know you can do it with the axial stuff all day long. I just hadn't seen anything about an ascender. And of course you could always re-drill some holes and make it work. But yeah, that'd be the way to go. Shen RC, what's up? Booster FPV. James, what's going on, man? He's saying, what are my thoughts on the new Traxxas horse? I think it reminds me a little of the Traxxas Stampede 4x4, just a redesign. I think it should have been a Traxxas Stampede version 2.0. That's what I really believe. It feels almost like a disservice to themselves in some ways because there's a lot of credibility between that Stampede name. So many people have had a Stampede, and if they saw a new one and the modifications, they might jump on that. If they priced it lower as well in the replacement range of the Stampede, which is $399, I think, for a 4x4 VXL Stampede. I mean, that's where it feels like it should be sitting anyway, because it's still just based off of a Rustler, based off of a 8th scale buggy, based off of a short course chassis, dropped down to be a monster truck, and it's basically a VXL that doesn't have the body gapping that the Stampede had. It seems like it would have been a really great upgrade to that lineup. And they'd have actually finally, after however many years, been able to say they had a version 2 of it. But they don't do a whole lot of upgrades with their stuff. They did the E-Revo 2, and maybe because that didn't go over super well, at least from the people I've heard of, it didn't go over super well. Maybe in the market outside of people I know it did well, but I haven't and don't know anybody that actually has the E-Revo 2.0. And the people I did know that have it sold it after dealing with problems. So I think the Haas is going to be awesome. I just think that the pricing, it's the Proud Papa pricing, and it doesn't also give them any room for people that buy that to say, you know what, I want to jump up to the next one, which is only $70 more. I should have just bought that. Whereas you start and you buy something lower, like a Stampede at like $400, then you think maybe later, oh, I'll get the one that's $550 now. But if it's like $480 or $470 and then you jump up to $550, it's not like there's this jump of this greatness that you made. Like there's a definite reason to buy this because it's that much better. And they don't leave that kind of room in there. So I don't know. I just feel like if they'd have maybe taken away self-writing or even the TSM, you don't need it in a 3S vehicle, and brought that price down to $400, and that would have been a bigger price gap between their two products, I think it would have been wise. But I'm not Traxxas. I don't make those decisions. I think it'll be an awesome truck. I just don't get how their tiers of cars work, because if I buy that, I don't see that much more in the Max to want to jump up to that. And they should want you to jump up to the next best one and then to the next best one, which is the X Max. But when they're ranged like that and they're not that different, and all of the features that are found in the Max for the most part are found also in the Haas, which is going to do about the same mile per hour. It's just kind of weird. It's just kind of weird to me. But stand alone on its own. Put blinders on, horse blinders, Haas blinders on, Traxxas Haas blinders, and you don't see the competition, and you don't even see your own vehicles in your lineup, and it's just all you're doing is driving it. I think it'll be a pretty good truck. I think the suspension looks awesome. I said that before. I think the plastics look great. I think the body design should bring in some new people to help them start designing their bodies to give them a little variety. But it would have been cool if it looked like a real truck, maybe with real color paint jobs. Although they kick themselves in the foot when they do that with the freaking TRX4s and they do them blue and red. Freaking Crayola colors. And then they come out with a blue G-Wagon. Everybody drives silver, black, and white ones of those. But we're going to do blue and red. Because we bought too much Traxxas blue and red when we ordered the paint from the paint shop. That's all they can get right now. So it's like the boardroom meeting. We need to come out with a new body because we have to paint so many more things blue and red because we need to free up some space in here. But yeah. Anyway, they're good cars. They're good cars that have a high price tag on them, and it's going to be a really good car that I don't know where you go from it. Like, I wouldn't get the Max from it. Like, it's not a stepping tier. I just get, I guess, the X Max. Blue and red America. They just don't have that detail level of their bodies that just look mature, is I guess the word I used when I saw it next to the infraction, and the infraction was just like, like drool, all over myself looking at it. And then the Hoff's like, oh, that's pretty cool. Yeah, that's playful. It looks like I could play with it in the yard, hit a few rocks with it, break it on a curb. Be fun. Start learning to fix things. But I like their rock and roll paint scheme. I will say that. But they kind of like do variations on it. And like they did that Gravedigger. I don't know, the Bigfoot. They're not allowed to have Gravedigger anymore. They did that Bigfoot one with like their color scheme. And it was so awful looking. The blues and the oranges that they used. I'm trying to find it, and then I'll pull it up here. I don't want this to be a rag on. But to go back to it, I think it'll do well. And I think that people will be confused in the pricing scheme of what it is and what it isn't. But yeah, so this one with these weird like Traxxas light blues and their little, just want to see this picture. There we go. I don't know. Should have just left it the regular Bigfoot or the one with the flames. This kind of, it doesn't do it for me. Maybe you guys love it. That's the great thing about the world. You guys don't have to agree with me, and that's awesome. The new infraction liveries are insane looking, Axio. So those do red, white, and blue, but they're like a super sophisticated look versus, I think I can do a side-by-side. Traxxas Haas. The orange looks better than the green. The orange does look better than the green. And the green in person is like really bright green. So you have that, and then you have blue infraction. Well, that didn't do what I wanted it to, but that's all right. I mean, when you look at this kind of striping design that they've done, which kind of has a pattern to it. I'll bring you guys back over. And then you compare that to like that thing. It has like a 90s vibe to it. Like 90s grunge with a little bit of 2020 flair to it, I guess. Maybe in some of the shading and the lettering, but like that's very hip. The camo stuff here. It doesn't feel playful. It feels mature and I don't know, just artistic, I guess, versus like splatter painting. So, all right, I'll get off of that. I'll rip on somebody else for a little bit if you guys want. Give me something else. Let's get it off of Traxxas. That was a bummer, though. If anybody saw the Earl Moorhead unbox his 8S Outcast and all the shocks were leaking. Brand new out of the box. That is not a fun day. Not a fun day. Paul Clancy, the TRX 6x6 is not bad. I'll tell you what, all the TRX lineup that are not the Sport look really mature. Their monster truck lineups, they need to do some work on. Because even like the Ford GT and that, those are classic colors and they do that right. All right, let's see here. The matte finish layering is where it's at. Yes, RC Amigos. Totally. What rig do you most regret getting rid of? The Infraction. Yeah, I've been trying to get one since I got rid of it, and I haven't been able to. The one time that I saw it in a store, I didn't have money that week. Awesome car. And I gave it away with extra wheels. I had all this stuff, but he wouldn't sell the pipe, but he would trade it and give me money toward the Infraction. So he had me. I really wanted the pipe. And I thought, I'll just buy another one. Nope. Haven't been able to buy one. And now they got these new ones coming out, and I opted for the Felony. So I got the Felony, but I did get the Haas. So I did get the Haas. And like I said, I looked at them both. And while I don't have that, like, oh my gosh, I love this, when I look at it, I do think that I'm going to really enjoy driving it. As long as I don't think about how much I paid for it. Shen RC, I'm sick of seeing those Traxxas paint jobs. They start mixing colors and then never stopped since. It's like a good idea in the 90s. You know, people were doing all that splatter stuff and grunge, and yeah, it's just not working. Moe's Garage, are you going to get the Traxxas X Max 8S? If you talk to my people at Hobbytown, I've talked to them about it several times. I'm very interested in getting one. That is why I sold my Traxxas X Max 6S, was to make room in the stable for that. And I'm not buying an Outcast 8S because I don't feel like I need it with the Creighton 8S. And I honestly think that the Outcast is fun and a lot of people love it. But I think that I'm going to like this Creighton better because I want the performance and the handling a little bit more these days. Which is, I think, what I love so much about the Laser Nut is the handling and the performance of it as I'm hitting the, like, what I have are just like dirt piles that have been driven over and destroyed by a tractor. And that's what I have left. And the way that car just drives over it and it's so much fun. That, yeah, I want more cars that handle kind of like that, where the Outcast gets ahead of itself so much in the air, on the ground. You're always trying to chase after whatever it, whoa. But, yeah. Mike, yeah, I got rid of it. He says the video did in the hotel at RC Fest. He said that's what got him into the channel. I remember you needed scissors. Yeah, man. We were at a hotel. We had to go to the front desk and ask for scissors to cut it out. Because I flew it. I didn't have any knives or anything. I had to take all my knives out. Anyway. Yeah, but I'll be getting another one. I just need them to come in stock. And at the time, the racing was starting, and I wasn't going to be doing the on-road stuff as much at that moment. There's always been I'm going to get it back. JR, I did not get rid of the dirt jumps. A septic company came through and destroyed my yard to put in a new septic system. And it wasn't supposed to go as far as the track was, but they decided, even though it was plotted out with stakes where it went and on a drawing, that when they got there, the ground was better down where I'd already gone and invested all my money and built all that stuff. And you have to leave easements for having septic systems done. So I can't put anything where I had one jump and the little backflip ramp area. I can't. I could probably do that again. But I lost definitely one jump. But I can rebuild most of the rest of it. And he left me a lot of the dirt. So I will be rebuilding as soon as it stops freaking raining. It's rained ever since we got it, except when we were gone in Michigan. So Earl and them are saying that the 4x4 wrestler bodies are pretty good. Yeah, they're not bad. Ooh, this is a good question. Dan Brando. Hey, do you think Traxxas will revamp the Slash and give it a clipless body? I think they should. I think they should take that chassis that they've got for the Haas and they should go clipless or with a clip system without clipless, I guess we'll say, with their locking system. That would be awesome. I really do like that locking system. It's innovative. It's thinking outside the box, and I just hate clips with a passion. Somebody said something. C7 body for the Infraction and Limitless will be cool. AZ Froggy's RC channel and more. Did somebody above say that there was a C7 chassis or C7 body? Tim Banison says, I ordered an Infraction Blue. It's a beautiful tribute to being an American RCer. Yeah, man. It's a really beautiful body. Kevin Gibbs, what's your next? And there was a question earlier about mud truck platform. I think an SMT10 with J Concepts, King Slings, and Dragon Wheels are the best easy way to get into mud stuff. And they just do really well. Some people do it just they put slashes with mud tires on them, but I like having the monster truck chassis and all that. So Kevin Gibbs, what's your next monster truck upgrade and which one? I think the next upgrade is a regulator chassis for the unbuilt Super Clodbuster body back here. So I have a J Concepts regulator chassis sitting, waiting for me to make a video building it. So that'll be the next one. The next thing after that will be, I put a 5700 kV into one of my trucks. I don't know which one. And I want to take it out and I want to put it into my Freestyle RC Pro C because I only run 2S in that thing and it is a 4600 kV and I'd rather be 5700 kV. Going back to the person that asked about 2S running what kV, I want that higher kV for running 2S. So, and it's because it uses the little saddle packs and I could potentially link them together and do 4S and all that, but I just give me a 5700 geared right on 2S and it'll do just fine for racing. Cody, what happened to the Associated monster truck? It's right here. I fixed it. Just fixed it. I had to wait for parts to come in because I ordered the wrong parts. It had broken when I was in the front yard doing the RC bash ramp stuff. All right, now I got to scroll. I'm way behind on comments. So if I miss yours, best bet is to ask it again. So I'm kind of scrolling past some of these pretty quick just to get down to where everybody else is living. Let's see here. Earl. Your Punisher monster is one of my favorite RCs, period. Who's he talking to? Because I don't have a Punisher. Oh, see, so RC Amigos, that it does make it problematic for something like the Slash, is that you can't just easily change the body when you have that clipless system, because you have to move the rails and everything over. That is true. There's truth to that. They could definitely update the Slash lineup, that's for sure. RC Amigos, in your backyard, man, a clodbuster would be awesome. I'm just saying. What should you ask for Christmas? I would... Well, see, you're out in Cali. There's a lot of drag scene there. If you want to spend a day at the track drag racing, but it sounds like you're a busy dude, so you're probably like me. I'm so busy that I can only make so many race type things where you're out for a whole day. Where a clodbuster is nice and slow and you can just run it in your backyard and it bounces. And when you're doing videos back there, man, it'd be mint. All right, so this one, Will RC asks, do you believe this is the best RC car improvement since Arma Horizon are starting to go toe-to-toe with Traxxas? Which RC car improvement? Do you believe this is the best RC car improvement since Arma are starting to go? I think it's good for competition. I think that it pushes Traxxas. Because Traxxas, let's be honest, they've been able to be comfortable with a big lead, you know. They're out in front of that marathon and they're so far in front that they can kind of coast, you know what I mean? And nobody's going to catch them. But Traxxas, I think they jumped on a train for part of the race and maybe caught a flight, and they're catching up. So, but honestly, I think Losi, if more people talked about Losi and what they're doing too, they kind of took a little bit of a weird turn when they left the 10 series, the 10 SCTEs, which were kind of more pro, like what I had. My second RC was a Losi 10 SCTE, and it cost me $550. And I beat on it for a year and a half and never did anything to it. Although I did, that's not true. The ESC died within the first 2 weeks, and they sent me a new one. It's the only time I've called and had something sent to me or like replaced or repaired. I was gutted, and I'm just like, the car won't do anything. I can't turn it on. I don't know what's going on. Like, I barely, I've been riding a lot, but I haven't done much to it. So they sent me a new one, and they were actually changing at that point from like Dynamite to something else. I don't remember. There was a different system when they sent it to me. I think I got a fuse system as a replacement. Anyway, it was awesome. Still runs great. And they went to the 10 line to Tenacity, and they changed a bunch. They went to plastic chassis, and I don't know. It's like it stalled a little bit there. I wasn't seeing it as much, and other people weren't running it. And all the people that were racing started to move to techno. And I don't know, but I think that Losi's like really picking some stuff back up, and I think they've got some really interesting stuff, and it's really durable. Type it. Are you going to do a size comparison on Arma Typhon? You mean between the 3S and the 6S? Or what? Because they're both 8 scale. They're both 8 scale buggies. So that didn't answer your question, Will, but it introduced a new one. I think that it's good. I think that it's definitely an improvement. And I think that in some ways, COVID has also been very instrumental in getting more people involved in the hobby. And that helps Traxxas out in many ways too, because a lot of new people just getting in. there's a couple things that really tie into how all of this works, and a lot of it has to do with hobby shops carry and what they carry. I don't know what just happened. I lost half of my headphones. There they go. And it also comes down to what dealerships and hobby stores carry, and the price of entry for a hobby shop to a brand to get them there. And so there might be more places that carry Traxxas stuff. And so there's a lot of things. There's a lot of factors that go into it. It's not as easy as we try to make it think based on who has a better car or not. It doesn't equal out that way. Welcome, 11 Charlie. Brian Taft just ordered a Capra. What size KV brushless motor would you recommend? 1800, somewhere around there, up to 2300 kV stuff. I know I went too big with you have to keep it a 540 can. So if you go with an ACT system, there's a number at which, I think it's 2300 or 2700. It goes, I think it's 2700. It becomes a 550 can. But both the Castle, I run both Castle and the Hobbywing ACT stuff, and yeah, somewhere around 1800. Or I actually did an 1800 Holmes Hobby revolver that I might be trying one, but it's a little bit loud. But it's a cheaper way to get some power, and smooth power at that too. Lots of hellos to you, 11 Charlie. Moe's Garage, what do you think of the name of the new Traxxas? Hoss. I don't love it. I get it. I remember people saying, hey, Hoss, but some people don't get it. Earl saying 2200 as well. Yeah, I think anywhere that 1800 to 2200 is good. Tony, what was the worst truck that you have ever bought, and what do you regret not getting in its place? Oh, that's a good one. My least favorite RC ever was that HPI Porsche, that Sport Flux something thing. That was never that great. But probably in a different way, going based on truck, I think the Axial Yeti, as much as I like that, it was the mistake truck that I purchased because I wanted a truck that did two things. So the question being, what do you regret not getting in its place, is an SCX-10. And so I bought it, did all this stuff, ended up buying an SCX-10, and that's what I had really wanted. And I wanted it to do. But once I saw that, it does trails, it does. And that's what people are asking about the laser nut. And I'm very quick to say, it is not a crawler. It's not about going slow with it. It's kind of like the Yeti. You're going to go fast. And it's not like the Wraith or the Bomber. So, and I wanted it to be, but once it went fast, then I started thinking, well, this thing is it's faster than my Stampede, and my Low C10 won't flip. But guess what? A Yeti will flip. And boy, will it break. I spent $200 just replacing the axles over and over and over and over. At least $200. But I would die to have it back now with that Vader body I painted for it. I would die to have that back. Fernando, are you going to get a Red Cat Kaiju? The price on that is so good, and that also makes the Haas pricing so odd. Because of what you get in the Red Cat Kaiju for $400. It's a game changer, man. Everybody I know love it. And the problem is that nobody here carries it. And I'm kind of I have an RC budget. And a lot of that budget is based on YouTube. And a lot of times I get that budget and I'm in a store and I spend it on something that's there. And because there isn't a Red Cat Kaiju on the shelf, I don't think about it and I don't think to order it. But I need to get one. RC Daniel, I'm the worst person to ask this. How much do you think you should sell your VXL for? It depends on upgrade parts. It depends on a whole bunch of things for a 4x4 VXL. Condition of the body. Does it have the sound system? They go for something for a VXL. I mean, you'd probably be all right to start it somewhere between 250 to 300 is my guess. Start high, let them offer low. What did I have for supper tonight? Supper. What did I have for supper? Spaghetti. It was awesome. Oh boy, here we go. General Hobbies. Holmes Hobbies just making some sick low turn brush motors for no prep. Oh yeah, that is what I want to hear. So, conspiracies. Hold on. This has nothing to do with no prep. Cody, this has to do with you, my friend. My Holmes Hobbies, it's been here. Puller Pro, Punchy, 2100 kV, 1/8 scale, 3 to 6S LiPo, 12 slot Kevlar wrapped stator. That is getting paired with this Mamba Monster here, 8S, Mamba Monster X8S system. So these two things are going to do a censored. What did we say we're putting these? Oh, this is going to my EXB. EXB. You're doing it for something else. You're doing it for your bomber. Never mind. You're still going to kick my butt if that's what you're doing for your bomber. I don't know why I went there. I just know you got the same thing. Someone's telling Brian to go 3,800 kV. This is for a crawler, right? I would stay lower kV for my crawler. And run bigger batteries. All right, so I'm way behind again. Will the rugged radio bind with the ESC for the laser nut? Yep. In fact, I just did a video with it today. Now, I will say that SR 6100 AT or whatever's in it, I think you have to go through and do like a reset on it. And I didn't do that when I did it. Because I can't get it to set my throttle endpoints. Like normally you hold down the set button, turn on the power, keep holding the set button till it flashes red and beeps, beep, 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 beep. You press it again, it stops beeping. You hold in full throttle, hit the button again, the set button, it beep, or beep, beep. I think it does twice. And then you do full reverse and you hit it again, and then you've set your endpoints. And it will not recognize the forward or the reverse ones when I do it. So I don't know. Maybe I'm crazy. But yes, it's bound. And it's showing the smart data, as Raquel's saying. And I can one-handed drive it, which was great today when I was doing speed tests because I forgot my my adapters to hold it. So I was sitting there holding my phone with my hand and driving one-handed. RC enthusiasts, I mentioned earlier I'm not planning to get the 8S Outcast. I feel totally happy still with my Creighton, so I don't feel a need. Locomotive 282, there's a Spectrum firmware update needed for the radio and the receiver. Well, there you have it. I do know that they needed one with the Creightons and some of that stuff as well. Ryan, what do you mean calibrate the radio and the RX and then the throttle points? What do you mean by calibrate them? Real RC Steve, honestly, I don't even think Tamiya can save nitro. The thing for me is nitro fuel's kind of expensive. AZ Froggies and More says he shared a link on the CCXRC Facebook page. I'll go check that out real quick, see what the link is. Oh, if you guys haven't seen yet, Axial is doing their like show off your rides thing from Axial Fest, but they're doing it online. So you can show your like show and shine trucks. Brett, here it is. Let's see what he's got here. A link. Oh, snap. Yeah, so this is a Delta Plastics C7 for the infraction felony limit note list. JT had one of these, and it looked really good because he has a Corvette, and it looked really good with it. Really good. It changes it up, gives people some options. Hey, JMRC says he got the Wi-Fi link working. Oh, Raquel saying, oh, so you just do it with the travel. Go down to the rugged, then select travel, scroll down to the throttle and pull the trigger. You can adjust the forward endpoint and reverse. Okay. And then go ahead and do it with the set button. I'll have to look at that, because normally with them I just do it the old-fashioned way, but maybe with the more high-tech radios you have to actually calibrate them before you do that, and I haven't done that before, so I might be messing it all up. See, you learn something new every day. I know when I'm binding like the regular radios that come with this stuff, it's a whole lot easier to do the basically calibrate your throttle to your ESC is what it's doing. And it's something that they actually showed in the manual for the ESC is what I was trying to tune with the button pressing. All right, so questions. There was a couple I didn't actually answer yet on Instagram here. I've got some stuff coming in the mail. Nice. Nice, nice. My RC four-wheel drive stuff's coming. Some of you guys know what that's for. All right, so questions. What was my favorite monster truck growing up? And I would say probably as a kid, I liked USA 1 the most. And then after that, it would have been Gravedigger and Michigan Ice Monster were pretty close after that. Wigan 8S Outcast. I've gotten this question a lot. And right now, the reason is my wallet's a little depleted and the garage is full of big RCs. And that's the truth. You know, I have the EXP waiting to be built here, Creighton 6S. I have another Clodbuster to be built. I have these two SMT 10s up here to work on. I've got the Haas coming, the Felony coming. I just got the Mojave I've still got to work on. So I've got a lot to do, and I'm pretty happy with the big trucks I have right now with the Raminator, the Creighton, the Losi DBXLE, and my 5T and Baja 5. So I got a lot of big ones. Do I have a 3D printer? I had 3 of them, and I sold all of them. Or traded them. There was a couple more questions here that I haven't answered. What was your greatest RC moment so far? My greatest RC moment, would it be? Like something like an achievement? I guess I don't know. I haven't really achieved that much. I don't like win a lot of races or... I mean, I just love hanging out with people and going to events. So, like Axial Fest was a total blast for me. Well, I guess so. Maybe winning the rock racing at Axial Fest, that was kind of cool. I don't know if that's my greatest moment, but I haven't like broken any records or tried to break any records or jump a house or do anything crazy. So, I kind of play it simple. Do you know of a cooling fan I can put on a brushless 1/16 Remo? Always overheated on LiPo. That I don't know. It all depends on the motor size. Favorite RC of all time. Of all the times. So that would come down to 2. Can you guys guess which 2 those are? And then from there, I will answer this one. I'll come back. What do you think my favorite RC of all time is? Flip it and turn it on you. I don't like the smell of nitro. I hear you guys still talking about it. I can't get over the smell of it. Although somebody put some like grape smelling fuel in the 5B when I bought it, the Baja, and that was pretty awesome. And Axio says nothing like the smell of nitro. Oh man, it makes me sick when I'm at the track and they're running them. I try and get away. But the cool thing is with that stuff, how long you can run them instead of batteries. Murphy, there seem to be a lot of questions about Traxxas lately, but their pricing has always been up there. Do you think that Traxxas are starting to lose their customers to Arma's better price point? So here's the deal. They were losing their customers to China for a little while before then even. People weren't willing to pay Traxxas prices for a while. Some people are. But there's a whole ton of two-wheel drive brushed slashes kicking around in garages because people bought what they could afford and their kids didn't have fun with it maybe. And it was like their entry in and that was it. And then they were done because of the price, I would say. And so I don't know. I mean, the X-Max I think is priced right. And it was priced right when I bought it as a 6S. The upgrades and pricing based on what they've done to it are worth it to me. I feel like it's priced right. I think that their crawlers are priced right because of the licensing that they get for that. And the amount of servos and motors. It's not brushless, but there's a lot that goes into those details. I feel like they don't need to put all the features that they put into a Stampede 4x4 VXL to make it $400. And I think that it should be $329 to compete with the Granite. $350. Bring it down $50. Strip out some of the, make it more competitive on the radio side of things where it still runs well. Like don't harm it like, the tactic to that DX2 or whatever, that STX2. Don't do that, but make it a good radio that just doesn't have as many channels. Like why do you need a 6-channel receiver or 5-channel receiver in a Stampede. I feel like there's things they could do to cut costs and make it a more affordable thing. Yeah, I don't need TSM in it. That feature of the receiver, not in a Stampede. And then, I mean, that doesn't come in the Arma stuff. And then you'd probably have a better rig in some ways with some of the metal drive shafts and stuff. But the price is making it really hard, I would say. And especially when you see a 3S brushless one that's sitting on the shelf there and it's, better price. Oh, here we go. Carolina Crusher and Virginia Giant. That's Corbett Smith's favorites. Nice. Adam Drake, legendary driver. A little better than me. Paul Clancy, San Diego. Sean, so much to do, not enough time, right? TRX4 is a fun truck. Totally agree. It was a game changer when it came out. Yeah, well, now those cast-off slashes are becoming drag cars. So there's a positive out of that. Yes, the slash is oddly priced. The base is $189 and the kit is $200 to $220. Then way up there from there with two-wheel drive. Yeah, it's their pricing's a little strange, but man, Arma killed it anyway because so many people were buying all that. You're looking at the zombies. I was even looking DHK. We had the VCAR Bisons, JLB, all of that stuff you could get brushless for like $300, three something. And it made sense, and I was willing to wait 2 weeks to get parts and all that because of what you got for the price. Well, then the Granite came out, and that changed everything. From then on, I really haven't bought or even done any videos really on most of those cars anymore. I don't do any of them. At the time, I felt like it filled a point, and it helps. They're also worldwide. That people don't have the Traxxas and the Horizon stuff we have all over the world, and YouTube is worldwide. So I didn't mind doing unboxings for them anyway because, people are buying it from countries all over the world, and it wasn't necessarily about, doing the video for people here in the U.S. But, yeah, it's the Granite changed everything, that 3S, because the pricing was brought down. What's my overall thoughts on the Rival MT10? Awesome. Again, makes the Haas pricing questionable. Yep. It's a little smaller, I think, than the Haas, but it's really awesome. Corbett says he's got every one of the TRX4s except the Trax. Wow. Yeah, the TRX4s and the X-Max are the Traxxas bread and butter. They're priced well. They're like industry. They're the top of their game in those. So yeah, I think they would be too if they came out with a nicely priced drag kit. Do I have the Hobby Wing Future Motor ESC combo? Not yet. I would love to try that, Brian. I have a different one, and it's sitting here messing up on me right now. Paul Clancy says, JD got into a fight with the neighbor over a 5T. I was just tuning. Yeah, they're a little loud. They are a little bit loud. My neighbors are pretty cool about it. I've got some pretty cool neighbors. All right, so back to the questions. You guys didn't guess. Probably my favorite is it would be the Raminator or the ZRD. Freestyle RC ZRD. Those would be my my favorites. And I kind of lean toward the ZRD, honestly. I kind of do. Even though it's nowhere near the price of the Raminator or the like wow factor. But the look of it, just everything about that truck, I love the ZRD. So I'm going to go with the ZRD. The Freestyle RC ZRD is my favorite truck. Least favorite RC of all time. G-Made Sawback. I'll get some complainers about that one. Some people love it. I didn't like it. What's a good age for getting kids into drag racing RCs? Asking for a friend. RC Amigos asking that question. The appropriate answer is 14 because RCs are not made for children under the age of 14. And so I'm going to stick with that for YouTube purposes. RCs are not toys. Don't let your kids play with them, folks. And kids, if you're watching, you should stop. This is not for you. This is for us adults to pretend we're kids. Still. Careful, Cole. What's a badger? You're a badger right now. You're badgering me about badgers. So leave me alone. Careful, Cole. Best metal upgrades for an X-Max. The motor and pinion. I don't want metal on my X-Max. It's plastic. Leave it plastic, people. That's why it works. Don't put bigger tires on either. Start breaking crap. Sometimes we think we make things better, but they've tested allowances on these things. So unless you're wanting to start buying new stuff all throughout the car, just leave it alone, people. I don't know. I'm being sarcastic, but I don't know. I mean, maybe Knuckles, like C-hubs, carrier hub. I would leave it plastic. It's easy to fix. The X-Max. One of the best things about the X-Max is how easy it is to work on some of the parts. That little screw, push out the pin, fix them. Yeah. Fast plastic. I've answered somebody else. Any problems with the wheels staying on? I have not had any issues with my wheels coming off my laser nut. They're Loctited on. I was actually asked by them to test mine to make sure that they were, because they were getting, I guess, people saying that they were losing their wheels or their wheel nuts. But I always tell people, check your wheel nuts when you get a new RC, man. Tighten them down. I always thread lock mine. Whether or not it has that lock nut, I put a little thread lock on, and it just makes me feel a little bit more at ease that I'm not going to have my tire go rolling off. But you guys watch my videos. You've seen the tires roll off. First run with the Red Cat ground pounder. I had another one I just did in the front yard. What was that? And the wheel went rolling off. It's with my son. I don't remember. It happens to me still. Where did that question go? Yeah, so fast plastic, no, I have not had any problems with the wheels staying on. I just ripped it today, did speed tests with it. I was just tearing it up and down a parking lot, doing wheelies, and nothing. So I did, like I said, and I only took off one wheel to check for the thread lock, and it had it. And then the rest of them, I just tightened down. Giveaways are a slippery slope. That is the truth, Axio. And I don't think it makes it grow bigger. And when it does, so here's something. We can talk about this. This is talk worthy about her. All right, people. JD Passel asks, do the giveaways do the giveaway to make your channel grow bigger. I don't think that it makes your channel grow bigger. I mean, some people definitely grow doing giveaways or the things grow. But the second they dry up, the people leave. And they only come when they are going to get something. And so you're basically feeding people. It's like Facebook, right? Facebook pages. If you do a Facebook page, you spend money or whatever you can spend money in advertising to get more followers, right? Well, here's the problem with having more followers that you paid to get is that they may not be interested really in what you're saying or doing. They may not be good followers, but Facebook will only show your feed to like 3% of your followers or 6%. It's a very small number because they want you to buy advertising for your posts. They want you to boost it to show it to more of these people that you just paid to get to follow you. Well, now the people that you want to see your content and that had originally signed up on their own, grassroots, aren't seeing your content because it's going to those people in that percentage. It might be going to them on that particular post, and they're not going to look at it. And so you've just wasted money getting more followers who don't really care about what you're doing. And then two, the people that you want to see aren't seeing it because of the whole algorithm thing. Anyway, it's a little different with the algorithms for YouTube. It's not going to not push it to you, but it's kind of that just nutso mentality of that is that you're building up and they're going to come. They don't help you. Those kind of followers don't help you. So if you really play the YouTube game and you learn how it works, having a ton of subscribers but 0 people that watch your videos doesn't do you any good. So you want the people that are subscribing to you to be people that really care about what you're doing and want to watch your content. Otherwise, it's just a number, right? So the real number is your watch time, the length of watch time, and how many of those subscribers, what percentage of them that you have actually come and watch. So you can see what percentage of subscribers watch your videos in a month versus non-subscribers. And it's interesting when you start looking at that stuff. It gets a whole lot more business oriented than you think. But I do giveaways because I'm going to make it, I think, more personal stuff than it is like giving away RCs. I give away RCs, but I don't do it here because I don't want that to be the reason that people come to watch. So I paid into advertising on Facebook for a while, and then I realized that really they're bots and they're hiding because you can pay on Fiverr to get subscribers. Well, those companies have to not be bots, right? They have to not be, a room of people sitting, clicking like. So they go and like other things through Facebook ads too, so that when they get paid to like somebody's channel and they go through and they do a bunch of them, whenever they get something pushed from Facebook, they'll also click and they'll subscribe to that too. They'll never show up on your channel. If you look, they like 15,000 pages, which no real person does. And it's really a shame. And Facebook takes your money knowing that it's going to these bots and companies and people that'll never watch your stuff. Just like they take money for advertisements that have false advertisements for products, like all of my Send videos used to try and sell some little crap toy for $25, but you think you're getting a Send racing thing, and they approve these ads knowing that the Facebook user is getting suckered by these companies, and they're taking the money from them for advertising, and then you're losing your money. And so Facebook just wins all around, and it's really it's a nightmare how all of it works. But that was a good side note. Gave me a little heated. But the chassis we're going to give away, I don't think there'll be as much fighting about that as, say, an RC of some sorts. At 50,000, we'll do something maybe a little different if we hit 50,000. I like to do it for milestones more than anything, but I don't want to do it as like, if I get to 50,000, we'll do this. At this point right now, that seems premature, and it's like you're trying to get people to follow you, so you'll give it away. But like, hey, once you're real close and it's just going to hit organically, and then you just say we're going to do something special, that's what I'm about. I'm not about doing it to try and get subscribers from it. It's more to reward the subscribers that are already here than try and just bring in extras. So that's, I think, the main goal is more to reward people. Oh, check this out. Axial's giving the SCX-10 3 to 11 Charlie. That's awesome. That's another place that I do give to, and I give money to, is 11 Charlie. I really love what he's doing. We'll have him on here sometime to talk about it. So if you guys don't know what Xavier's doing and with soldiers and that, and giving them, people who are going through PTSD and some other things, to give them an outlet in the RC world is just an amazing thing. Fully behind it and supporting him and giving these guys RCs. I mean, I know how much it is just nice to get away and sit and tinker on the trucks, but then get together with people and run them. I mean, that's awesome. So he's got it going on right now. Let me find a link. Actually, I'm going to go on 11 Charlie. If you will post a link to your page, I'm going to make you an administrator so that you can. Oh, are you already an administrator? You are already. Go ahead and post a link to the auction you're doing for the Johnny Rains bodies. And somebody said it earlier. Johnny Rains, they should work with him to design some Traxxas bodies. That would be super sick. Daniel McMaster, you can't buy customers. Yes, but Axio is hooking him up with a new build he can do for him. That's awesome. He's taking care of the veterans. Yep. It's really inspirational what he's doing. I think I answered all the questions. Oops. Just make sure that no other ones had popped in. Says best metal upgrades for the X-Max. Yeah. I think we're through all the questions. So yeah, GD Pass. So that's kind of why I've seen too many people get all up in arms and giveaways hurt more channels than I've seen it help them. And it's sad that it works that way. And it also frustrates people. They feel like they get gypped for some reason. It's tough. I did it when I did the mats, and that even had a little bit of controversy stuff with it. And I just haven't done anything since, but I'll do something with this, this thing. And a lot of times what I do is I give away to people locally this stuff. So, which is also why I don't sell a lot of RCs. I end up giving away to people. Yeah. So, Sean, you don't have a tool. You can post it. Somebody post a link. I'm trying to get back to YouTube to do it. There. Somebody post a link to the 11 Charlie. GoFundMe or whatever it is. I don't know what it is exactly. Oh, here it is. I got it. And you can actually see my name's up there. Incoming link. You guys check that out. They're doing a giveaway for 2 really awesome bodies by Johnny Rains painted. $10 gets you in on it if they're still available. I don't know. I think there are, because there was like 16 spots yesterday, and then I paid 3 of them after that. So there should still be about 13 spots left. So you guys can get in there and check that out. Yeah, actually, there was 16 tickets, and I put in 30 on it. yesterday. All right, here's a good question. What should I get for my first Armacaro truck? RC Smith. Man, what made me fall in love with Arma was the Arma Granite. So I had an Arma Sentin Mega. That's the first car I received from any U.S. company. Was through Hobbyco back in the day before Horizon owned Arma. And so they sent me this. I'd reached out to Arma at one point there. They'd seen some of my videos bashing and all that. And they said, get in touch with the U.S. distributor, Hobbyco. We'd love for you to have, one of our vehicles to review. And so I was like, okay, cool. And so they sent me that, and it was really cool. We ran it around, ended up giving it to somebody locally because I'd gone and gotten brushless stuff. But it was awesome, and we really liked it. But when out of the blue, so it would have been around Christmas. So this is how I remember. Those little ECX monster trucks came out, and I brought out my little clay pieces, jumps that I'd made for the 1/64th Monster Jam toys with my kids, and which is our most viewed video we've done for YouTube is for a toy, not RC. And so I got it, and it was awesome. They jumped off it perfect. It was amazing. I was so excited. I bought 2 of them. I went back to buy a third one, and they'd pulled them off the shelves because the ESCs were bad in all of them. That the demo units they'd gotten, and this happens to these companies all the time. They get one thing from production in China, and then when they go into full production, it's not what they were given as a test. And so they get all these, and they decide for time saving or whatever reason, they just change something without telling anybody, and then it just made them all not work for more than a couple runs. Mine went longer, I guess, because I got several days. I had no idea there was a recall on them all. But it was at that time that I'd called them because I ordered one to find out what was happening with the order. Well, something was showing up as shipping to me, and it shows up at my door, and it was a Granite BLX. And I was like, what the heck is this? Like, I didn't order this. And a couple days, for days I didn't know what it was. And then finally I got an email from somebody at Horizon saying, hey, I just wanted you to know I sent you one of these things to do a review on. And it just came out of the blue. And, the contact through Hobbyco, I guess, had passed on my information to Horizon. And and that truck was a game changer for me with Horizon or with Arma, and that's when I started just falling in love with their stuff. But holy cow, you guys, what is happening? Cha-ching's in the chat. Cheers, Tony. Super chat from Kevin Gibbs. I'm just sitting here talking away, and you guys are chatting away like crazy. I got so much to catch up on. Mike, guitar player with the Keep It Up sticker. Riff Raffs. RC with another super chat. You guys are killer. I would say start with the Granite. If you like monster truck stuff, just give that a go. To answer your question, thank you to you guys for the super chats. Wow, man, that's awesome. But I'm trying to catch up here. Sometimes you look at the questions in here and you kind of wonder if there's something that you missed, if they're responding to somebody else or to you. So yeah, 11charlie.com. So that's the link to his website. That's where you can see the Johnny Rains body. It'll also link you to, let me just go there. Let's go to 11charlie.com and show you these bodies first of all, because they're cool. And it's worth talking about. All right. Operation 11 Charlie, taking care of our heroes. So here's, he does these builds and stuff. They're taking care of our heroes through RC cars and RC hobby. Our goal is to help veterans cope with PTSD and related issues. Anyway, these bodies right here are awesome from Johnny Rains that they're doing the giveaway for. But if you go down here, there's a little link to the GoFundMe, and that'll take you to it where if you give $10 and put your name in, you'll get put into the giveaway. And you can see here they've got the little pictures and stuff of the giveaways that they've done with the different veterans. Very cool. And like I said, definitely support them. And they do a live show on Monday nights. So you should tune into that. 8 o'clock here on YouTube. JD Passel says his first was a Typhon 6S. Some people are saying the Big Rock. I'm trying the Big Rock this time. But I tell you, that Granite was something else for me. It was a game changer. And now I have had, so from that's what's interesting. People are like, oh, Arma, they think that I have more Arma experience than I do. I don't. I have not been an Arma person and fanboy or any of that. And so, when people are like, oh, you're just an Arma fanboy if you don't think the Haas is, too expensive. I'm like, no, I started with a Senton 4x4, got a Granite 3S. And then after that, I got the Infraction, I think. We got 2 Senton 3S's. But most of ours are in that 3S line. Then I got a Creighton 4S, which is an awesome car. And then I have the Outcast Anniversary Edition. But I didn't have any of the 6S lineup until the Outcast. And I wanted the Creighton, but I got the Outcast because of the Anniversary Edition. But and then for the 30th anniversary, I got the 30K, not 30th anniversary, the 30,000 subscriber thing. I bought the Typhon because I wanted to try and jump the fence with it and create like a super air car with so I planned from the get-go to put an M2C chassis in from the start, so bending it on the fence wasn't a big deal. But a lot of that 3S lineup is awesome. If you're just starting and you're younger, the Mega 4x4s are a great way to start, and they're cheap and come with batteries and everything you need. All right. Axios saying the Max is good, but you have to get the Wide Max kit and steel CVDs. Add Brian Lindsay, it gets expensive quick. So it's $549. Add another $60 at least for the Wide Max, I think. So you're looking at $610, another $100 for the CVD. So you're at $710. And then you just think, man, I should have just gotten X Max. Should have gotten X Max. Unless you don't have room to run it. EXB, RC Smith. I don't know, unless your first RC, you've got to know about what ESCs to run with it. You have to buy. It gets expensive because you got to buy motor, ESC, receiver, controller, all that if you don't already have that stuff. But I guess you said it your first Arma, so it doesn't mean it's not your first RC. I'm kind of reading into that wrong. If you do get it, make sure you read about the diff shimming that needs to be done. So it comes as like a ready to roll kit. Not even ready to roll. It comes as like a roller, and even at that, it's a roller that you have to then open up the diff and put in some shims because there's some issues there in a lot of them, and not all of them, but some of them don't have the right shims. So you just want to double check it. So I kind of in my mind changed that from your first Arma to your first RC as an Arma, and that definitely changes how you look at that. Their 6S lineup's pretty cool. Where was it? Here. That moved quick on me. 11 Charlotte says, can't wait for an Outcast EXB. I really hope that they fix whatever shimming issues they have before they release any more of those EXBs. I've seen a lot of nightmare stuff with people. I know RC Guy Garage. I know Earl Moorhead. I've seen other people on Facebook. And so mine is still sitting in the box because I'm trying to wait and watch and see what best solution there is, because I don't want to go out there and destroy it and have to be fixing it. But I also don't love having to fix it either right out of the box. But it is what it is. That's why it's a hobby. We come into it knowing that we're going to spend to make them better, and that's okay. And we're going to spend time on stuff too. Lauren Cronish, I have not been able to keep up because this week is going to be so busy for me, and why I probably have to cut off here in about at least 20 minutes is I've got a lot going on for a shoot coming up, and I haven't been able to watch all the videos of the felony running yet. Nobody's been talking about them, but they've been running them, and that's been cool to see. RC Smith says 6S. All right. I've never run Italian, so I probably Outcast versus Typhon. I think I like my Typhon more than my Outcast. And I'm curious to see. I haven't driven a Creighton 6S yet, but I know a lot of people that like it more than the Outcast just because of control. So, but yeah, I'm kind of newish to the Arma stuff. Everyone, Tony. Yes, just remove that diff, put in center and LSD in the rear. So you just buy a center differential casing. Is that what you're saying? Just buy a whole center and then put the LSD gears on it, the sun gears? Oh, remove that diff, put it in the center. Okay. So take the rear diff, put it as the center diff, and then put the LSD in the rear. Okay. And that takes care of it, huh? Okay, that makes sense, Paul. That wouldn't be too hard. Change the two diffs, the center diff and the rear diff. Is what it sounds like he's saying. Okay. Yep, just switch them. I got it now. I didn't follow it at first, and then once I reread it, it made sense. Made sense. LSD means limited slip differential. That's helpful, Paul. It still seems like it should need the shims if it's not shimmed right. Pilot Ryan says 6S Creighton in any form is a must-have at least once. Yeah, but I stepped up right away because I didn't want to do an M2C chassis when I can already get the one that's going to be super beefcake. Because when it's an Arma, you just want to send it. So I do like the idea of the EXB with the upgraded parts and, charging you more and letting you put in your own electronics, because it is going to be one of those kind of trucks that you build to send. So Anyway, guys, I can't talk about what's happening this week right now. I can probably share with you later on this week the cool stuff that's happening. But I don't know the sensitivities at the moment, so I will wait until after everything's done so that I don't get booted off of the shoot. And yeah, I do need to go because I have an early morning. I've got to pack up the C-stand that's holding this camera right here, right now, and take down some more of my camera gear and load it into the van still, and then get ready. But it's been good. You know, I came in. You guys make it so easy. I literally was driving around trying to find a black tie, but everything closes so early that, you know, I thought for sure I could just hit up, you know, a store and do it. And luckily Kohl's was open till 8. Because everything else closed at 7, and so we ate dinner, and then I'm out to the first one, and they didn't have anything. They were completely, all their ties were gone, and a lot of their stuff was off the shelves in general. But by the time I started looking at the other stores, I'm like, I need this tie, and they're all closed. And finally, Kohl's. I'm like, I'm just gonna hit it on my way tomorrow, on my way out of town, and it turned out they were open, so we ended up driving there, but. Our 11 shell, yeah, that's a little bit of a conspiracy, not RC related. Although I have RC conspiracies that are going to be arriving at my door that will, I think, be announced soon, and it's cool. So I'm not going to talk about it because I can't. But yeah, cool stuff. It's that time of year, right? And they've probably got to be getting into it even earlier with everything going on. So, yeah, guys, be sure to hit the like button if you like the show. And thank you guys for the support. And hopefully we'll start hearing more. I mean, Greg last week said that we did a bunch of lives last week. He jumped in on one of them and was saying that it's just getting started. So there's going to be a lot of releases coming, and I'm getting super pumped about that. Super pumped. Daniel McMaster, I can't leave. You guys keep writing stuff I want to talk about. The value proposition of the Max and Hoss is a crime against the RC community. I don't know that it's that bad. It's interesting. Yeah, Shade Tree, I'm not a fan of tearing down brand new diffs either. Yeah, I hear you. Ryan, my rear diff lower sun gear is messed up after 3 runs. That's what I saw somebody else had. Yeah, none of it's perfect. And again, they spend so much time testing these, and then you can send it away and have it come back and not be how you showed them to build it. It's really, it's got to be frustrating for them. I mean, it's frustrating for us, but I can't even imagine being the company and being like, we had this worked out. What the heck, you know? You know, because they're people too, end of the day, and they want to have good products, right? Nobody goes in being like, hey, let's make something that has a messed up diff that's missing a shim, or they use the wrong shim. J.O., okay, here we go. He's answering a question asked earlier. I've watched every felony video I can find. Man, you are in for it, man. Yet to hear anybody mention any complaints or build issues. That's awesome. Yep, Dan Brando. Earl Moorhead is an RC icon, right to the point and always looking for a solution. Very, very technical. Very good. Very good. I got behind somehow. Yeah, Power saying I asked for it though, and that's the problem. Is like I do too, and a lot of times, you know, we put too much power to these things, and you know they can only do so much. But that's all, guys. That's all she wrote. I'm gonna go ahead and start tearing down all this gear, which is always a fun thing to do. And I hope you guys have a good night. I also will probably try to edit. It doesn't take much editing, but get uploaded some of the speed tests. RC Conspiracy, I did blow up the spur gear, it sounds like, in the Arma So I do need the 4x4 Mega brushless converted. So I do need to look at that. 3S killed it. And I need to get it to 32 pitch somehow. And that'll take care of a lot of issues, I think. Anyway, guys, thanks for tuning in. And we will catch you in the next RC Conspiracies.